Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing our horror movie night in the cave. I have three movies for you here. Like I said, yesterday, I believe, if you watched that video, two of them are part of the Three from Hell series, and then the other one is brand new. And we'll start with our new one here, and that is Undertone, directed by Ian Toussaint, starring Nina Curie, Adam DeMarco, and Michelle Duquette. A host of a popular paranormal podcast becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way. This came out this year, March 13th, 2026. I believe that was one of the Friday the 13th this year, so that is pretty cool. They got a horror movie on Friday the 13th. I honestly really did enjoy this movie. I can see why it's divided though, because it's like it's so different from everything else that you watch. It's hard to be like, well, that was really good because it was so different, or because it was this way or that way. And in this reality, it is so different from everything else out there that it really kind of stands out. And you know that I love uniqueness and I love just creativity and just seeing new ways of doing old stuff. And this is definitely one of those things. Um, Very well done here, movie. It sounds like a podcast. It really does. It has a really good like sound to it through everything. I watched it at home, so I didn't get it in theaters. I bet it sounded even better or even more like a podcast when we were in the theaters and at home. But it was really good that way, especially when two people were talking. You know that it's always hard for a movie when there's only like one or two or three actors the whole time, and this is one of those movies where it's really just Nina career for like probably an hour and 30 minutes, the hour and 40-minute movie. So I mean, she had to do a lot of different things, and she did a very good job with those different things. It had an opening of 9 million, it had a gross of 18 million. Honestly, like I'd give this movie probably a B plus. It was very well done. It was quick. It was like it sounded good. It was kind of creepy at the end too with everything that happened. I won't go into that, but the one thing that like I really want to warn you about is this movie is definitely a big slow burn. It takes time to develop, and but does have a firework at the end. So it's like we're slow burning, and then we have a fireworks show at the end, and it's all like kind of there at the end. That is just everything happens, which is like kind of really what you want with a movie, especially a horror movie. Just a really solid climax here. So yeah, this movie is done very well. Like I said, I can see the divide. I give it a B plus. There's really nothing really like too like there's nothing that really stands out that would really like discredit or want you not to watch this movie too. It's just really kind of quick. Everything happens and you're following along with the story that they're telling through the podcast, through the movie. And as that happens, all of a sudden you're hooked, and then you get to the end, and it's just like it blows up. So, very well done here. That is Undertone, directed by Ian Toussaint. Um, yeah, and then the second movie we're going to talk about here is the first one of Three from Hell, House of a Thousand Corpses, directed by Rob Zombie, starring Sid Haig, Karen Black, Bill Moseley. Two young couples traveling across the backwoods of Texas, searching for urban legends of murder, end up as prisoners of a bizarre and sadistic backwater family of serial killers. Honestly, there's so many people in this movie that just kind of spotlight, especially at this time and period that would have just been coming out. This is April 11th of 2003. Walter Goggins is in this. Sherry Moon Zombie, of course. I believe this is her big screen debut, as well as Rainn Wilson, who is Dwight from The Office. I believe he would have been working on season one of The Office at this time too. So it is interesting to see them as well as the kids. You know them from movies if you saw them. I just didn't write their names down. And a couple of the more like character actors too, as well. You would know, including the sheriff and the dad of the one girl. We had a budget of 7 million here, and we had an opening of 3.5 and a gross 16.8 million. So no matter whatever metrics you use, it definitely made its money back and then some, which is always probably why Rob Zombie was able to continue to go and got green light for Halloween pretty soon after this one. This is a crazy movie. I can understand the people and the skeptics who would say that it is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff. I understand that completely. That's a matter of fact. I would do not even like disagree with you at all, but the way he did it and everything he done, like especially when you go back and you watch it now and think about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like this, you really, really see a bunch of differences, and you really see like the sadistic side more of the Rob Zombie product than the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is already kind of sadistic in itself. So that it is a way to say this movie's fucking rocks. I mean, it's the start of the Three from Hell or Firefly family, whatever you want to call them. We get a good look at Captain Spaulding here with Sid Haig and Sherry Moon Zombie as well. Bill Moseley is like a classic in this. It's just there's just so many good things. Like, and then like you can tell it like he even had like a plan because like the whole process of this movie, they were like killing people and they would have had like a house with 1,000 corpses. They I think they eventually said in Three from Hell during the news part of everything to show you what was going on and what had happened since the first movie and before the prison break in Three from Hell. But what they do a really good job with this movie is like conveying that this family is pretty much nuts and like they're kind of already at the end of the line because they take the cheerleaders that were already part of the town, and then after that they drop them off into a car where the other teenagers that are known been missing and put treat on there for like trick or treat because it is Halloween, remember, in the movie. And then they kind of that kind of leads the police to them, which leads into the Devil's Reject. So I really honestly think that he had a plan the whole time for this, and that's kind of what he wanted to stick out here, though, was the sadistic side of this family, so that you can move on to the other movies that he would eventually do featuring the Firefly Clan, even if he didn't have Devil's Reject exactly in his mind. And that was The House of a Thousand Corpses, directed by Rob Zombie. And the next one we're going to talk about, of course, is Three from Hell, directed by Rob Zombie. This one tags Sherry Moon Zombie as the lead, Bill Moseley and Sid Haig. After barely surviving prison, the demented Firefly clan go on the run, unleashing a whole new wave of murder, madness, and mayhem. Jeff Daniel Phillips shows up in this as he is in the Munsters and a couple other Rob Zombies eventually, so he kind of definitely joins in on this one. Richard Brake, who is like awesome in this movie, and as well as 31 for Rob Zombie, and Emilio Rivera is in this. If you know him, you know him. Danny Trejo pops up in this. There's a couple other people that top up in this that you wouldn't expect. This came out September 16th of 2019, so we know this is a COVID movie. It had a budget of 3 million and opening at 2.1 and gross 2.2. I bet it only had one weekend. I kind of remember the release around this because it was right in the middle of the pandemic, so it did kind of hurt the numbers here. Honestly, I think it kind of hurt the marketing too as well. I don't think as many people saw this. This is a really well done movie, honestly, especially for around 2019. Horror, which really wasn't like the greatest, although we were starting to see some different things. I mean, there's parts of this movie that just look so and seem so real, especially in the suburban part when they're running through and she murders one of the people in the neighborhood, like right out in the open. Like that is like very like realistic to me for some reason. Like it just felt real. It didn't feel fake like a nighttime stabbing or chasing wood. So I think he did a very good job with that. Richard Brake is in this. He is just another type of psychopath for a movie, as well as Bill Moseley. Honestly, I would love to see Richard Brake like Freddy Krueger. I think he would do a very good job with that, even though I think that would be overdone and there's no reason to do any more Freddy Krueger. If they were going to do a new Freddy Krueger, I would definitely want Richard Brake. I probably want Rob Zombie working on it too as well. But we know he will not be doing a studio horror movie anytime soon because of just his feelings of Halloween. Um, yeah, like I said, these three movies are all kind of lumped into my number eight for movie of all time. Number eight movie of all time. I did just because it's the trilogy, but really, I was trying to like focus on the Devil's Reject. But I went into these and I gotta watch them. I really enjoy them every time I watch them. I think like I said, I don't think I've seen Three from Hell since it came out, and I really did kind of see it a little bit differently today. And I think that this movie holds up so well compared to the other movies that we've seen in and around this time. So I think it's very well done. Rob Zombie is one of my favorite directors, to be honest with you. I've said it a bunch. That is Three from Hell, directed by Rob Zombie. We are going to see a movie this weekend. I think it will be that Michael movie. Like I said, I really don't expect much from it, biopic wise, but it is definitely something to worth check out. It's going to be interesting, no matter how it goes out. And then we will get back to it next week with Better Call Saul and everything else. So thank you guys very much for listening, and please have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.